960. 960. 960 months is the average allocation to every single one of us. That's how many months you've got to live. I've lived 693 of mine already, which means that 75% of my life is over. How many months have you got left? Some of you have only a few. Some of you are way over your allocation already. The Bible is realistic about that fact. And it says things like this in James: you are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Psalm says this: everyone is but a breath. And then it says, our days are a mere handspan. And I love the way Job puts it. Our days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, back and forth across the loom. Whether we believe in God or not, I don't know where you're at today, but there is something inside us that wants our short lives to be meaningful, to make a difference, to matter. And the great news about that desire is that is exactly what Proverbs is bringing for us. Proverbs isn't interested in helping us simply have a happier life, or even being merely a book of wise sayings. Proverbs is actually an invitation to the path of life. Not just a longer life, but a wiser life. Now, I have to make a confession. I preached my first real sermon in 1989. That's 37 years of preaching, and I have preached on every book of the Bible or part of, except Proverbs. Genesis tells a story, Romans develops an argument, Matthew follows Jesus, but Proverbs, it feels to me like it's just someone pouring out a bunch of Lego bricks in front of me, and they're all random and all over the place, and says, there, see what you can do with that. I think, though, I've realised that Proverbs, what it does is it comes to us from a different direction to every other book of the Bible. It actually comes to us sort of from below and from behind. We can't look at Proverbs and go and admire it. And what Proverbs does is it comes up behind us and jabs us in the ribs. Or maybe to follow on the Lego theme, I don't know if you were ever creeping in to your child's room just to check they were okay, and you had bare feet. Oh, is there anything worse than standing on a piece of Lego when you're meant to be quiet? But see, what Proverbs does is it gets very practical, and before we've even realised it, it's actually pointed out in our lives, exposed whole areas where we actually might not have even been telling ourselves the truth. Sometimes Proverbs is a prod, and sometimes it's a reassuring hand on your shoulder, but both times it's still unexpected. And these first verses of Proverbs, these first, I want to suggest 19 verses, are the foundation for understanding and receiving the whole lot. Now, I do have a Spanish version. Have you got the Spanish version? You haven't been given it? It should be up the back there. So, yeah, I just saw you. As I said before, as we're looking at Proverbs, one of the things, it presents itself as a random wise sayings, but it's more than that, because as you begin to read, you think, actually, there is a story in this. The story is from a father and a mother to a son. But the story goes even deeper than that. It's actually the father as a king speaking to his son as the crown prince, as one who is going to be the king. And these words of wisdom are for the king to know how to lead well. Which means that as we're thinking about how this applies to Jesus, it's helpful because we're seeing King Jesus, it's describing him. Our very first verse says, "The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel." So these proverbs are on the lips of the king, aimed towards his son. But we get to listen in as well, and we get to understand what godly leadership will look like and how we respond to it. So Proverbs is about kingdom living. I wonder if you can finish this sentence. 2 all-beef patties. Anyone do it?
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickled onions on a sesame seed bun.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. Who knew that? Just put your hand up. What an amazing ad campaign that was. It actually came back. I remember in 1978, I was 10 years old. I was at McDonald's in Fairlight with my dad, and the marketing thing was that at the time, all I had to do was get up there and say 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun in under 5 seconds, and I got a free Big Mac. It was great. My dad, I don't know why I remember this, my dad bought a 1/4 pounder. I ate the Big Mac. My dad ate half the 1/4 pounder and couldn't finish it, so I finished half his 1/4 pounder. I just remember his face. I think he was worried that I'd become more than just 10 years old, but maybe 10 kilos heavier. But what Solomon's doing in these first verses is giving us the ingredients, not of a hamburger, but of the real path of life. If you have these things, he is saying, you will live. And if you don't have these things, you won't live. Well, to follow in the Lego theme, come with me if you want to not die. Now, that's only if you've seen the movie, so. What Solomon is doing is saying, come and find life. And what are they found in? It's in those first few verses: wisdom, instruction, understanding, insight, prudence, righteousness, justice, fairness, shrewdness, knowledge, discretion, learning, discernment, guidance. It's like a thesaurus. It's saying, this is what you need. And there is an urgent insistence in the midst of all of those. He says, gain these things, receive these things, do these things, apply these things, keep listening to these things, keep adding to these things, get these things. That's just in verses 2 to 6. So I want to put out a challenge. If anyone can memorize Proverbs chapter 1, verses 1 to 7 by next week, I'll buy you a hamburger. An epic burger at that. He's always out there. But let me say, Sorry.
Can I have something different? I don't need hamburgers.
You'll be able to give it to somebody else. James might eat it. If you memorise it, I can give you a hamburger, but if you take it to heart, God will give you life. And this is why that makes sense. It's because it is by God's word that he created the world. And here's the point of this in the Bible. It's not just saying, this is how God did it. He just spoke and it made it. The point is that the way we live in the world is by the same word that he created the world. The wisdom by which he created the world is the wisdom by which we live in the world. And this is very exciting because we have access to that word through Proverbs. It's living stuff. It's the actual stuff of life. It's not about Sunday. It's about Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. It's about living. It's about kingdom living. And the way to start this journey is the same for everybody, wherever you are at. It's in verse 7. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge or of wisdom, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So you'll be happy to know that the way to life, the way to know life, is not via how intelligent you are. It's not about how educated you are. It's not about how experienced you are. It's not about what age you are or what reputation you have. Wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. So the necessary foundation of a wise and meaningful life is the fear of the Lord. Full stop. But when you hear fear, what do you hear? Sort of cringing fear? The Bible goes out of its way to say, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. God turns up. Angels turn up. And the first thing that's often said is, do not be afraid. Which is such a difference to the rest of the world at the time, where you were very afraid to think of whatever deity they might be. You are in cowering fear before it. Yet at the same time, the Bible will say the fear of God is the best policy. So what is this fear? It's not the fear that makes you cower and run away. It's the fear that makes you lift your head up and draw near to God. So fear of the Lord in Proverbs is to trust him, to know him, to be committed to him, to hate what he hates and delight in what he delights. That's to fear him. So in many ways, fear in Proverbs is the same as faith in the New Testament. It's accepting reality. He's God, I am not. He's almighty, I am fragile. He is all wise, I am often self-deceived. Think of the ocean. Do you fear the ocean? It's not that you fear it, that you're scared of it, that you hate it or something like that. It's you respect it. That's the right way of fear. And when you don't fear the ocean, you get swallowed by it. So think of the Titanic. Nothing can sink this ship. And then think of just a couple of years ago. Remember that submersible that went down? What was it called? Titan. I mean, what a thing to call your ocean-going ship. Titan. And what happened? As it sunk deeper and deeper and deeper, it just hit that level of pressure until the sea just went and destroyed it. That's to not fear the sea. That's to walk up and say, I'll be fine. That's not going to go all right. Yet, if you respect the sea, if you respect the ocean, you can surf on it, you can swim in it, you can be refreshed by it. Do you see the difference? This is what the fear of the Lord is. Respect, awe, trust. And I wonder if your life is being increasingly marked by fear of the Lord. Because here's the crazy thing. If I ask you that question, is your life being increasingly marked by the fear of the Lord? If you say no, that's good. And the reason that that is good is because it's honest and you can jump on the path, back on the path today. But if your answer to that question is, yes, I fear the Lord, that might not be good. And the reason that might not be good is because one thing Proverbs exposes more than anything else is humanity's unique capacity for self-deception. We can keep up appearances and we can fool others and fool ourselves as well. So much so that we can say, yeah, I fear the Lord. There is this great divide in church, and it's not between those who agree and disagree with what's being said, because really, everyone agrees. It's the difference between those who agree and those who obey. That's the difference. And so Proverbs isn't interested so much in what you say you believe, but it is interested in what you're becoming. And here comes the prod. The Lego brick trodden on with bare feet at night. It's in verses 8 to 19. It's a father speaking, it's the king speaking to his son. And immediately there is a choice given. It's not, do you believe or do you not believe? That's not the choice. And the choice is, do you want to go to heaven or go to hell? That's not the choice even. The choice is, will you listen to one of two voices? Will you listen to wisdom, or will you listen to those who say, come with us? There is the distinction. What's this mean? The ones that say, come with us, in this part of the passage, say, come along with us. We will get all sorts of valuable things and fill our houses with plunder. Cast lots with us, and we will share the loot. You see, the temptation is not sex, it's not atheism, it's not false religion, it's greed. Verses 8 to 19 say, don't be enticed by greed. Now, you're not enticed to do something you don't want to do, are you? I don't give my dog food and think, gee, I'd really like to have some of that. I just don't have that. But I am enticed by the things my heart does want. Wealth. That's why greed is so dangerous. And here's where Proverbs is sneaking up and poking us in the ribs. Proverbs says, right, you say you fear the Lord, let's take a close look. Show me your bank account, show me your generosity. Show me your diary. Let's see where you spend your time. Show me what occupies your imagination. What is the algorithm telling you your heart loves? Scroll, scroll, scroll. See, greed isn't simply loving money. Greed is asking money to do what only God can do. It's this idea of give me security, give me self-worth, give me significance. And all of this is worship language. You'll find in worship, you will find these things from God, or try to find them anywhere else, like in money. This is why Paul can say that greed is idolatry. Do you see? Our culture endorses greed, calls it good, encourages it, says it's just responsible for you to be like this. What is the motto for the lotto? You know, the lottery. Can you remember it? What's that? Rainbow? Might be a picture of a rainbow. Yeah, what's the motto? Can you remember? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? And Proverbs says, wouldn't it be foolish? Such are the paths of all who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away their life. They chase it, but they lose it. Exactly opposite to what they wanted. And this is why we hear on King Jesus, the proverb king, on his lips, you cannot serve both God and money. Paul will say to Timothy, to Christians, remember it's to Christians he's talking to, says this, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant or to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, to be generous and willing to share. In this way they will lay up treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life, the path of life. See, the opposite to fearing the Lord is greed. And you've only got one of those two options. One of the ways that Proverbs will try to weed out greed, will try to determine a test to determine whether we are greedy, is to ask what is our attitude to the needy. Listen to the Proverbs. Whoever is kind to the needy honours God. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. Whoever shuts their ears to the cry of the poor will also cry out and not be answered. The righteous care about justice for the poor, but the wicked have no such concern. Do you have any concern? Which are you? Are you actually wicked or righteous? So Proverbs' test for greed does not ask how much do you own, but what happens when you meet someone in need. That's the test. And Christians have always understood this. Listen to what St. Basil the Great says back in 330. The extra bread you keep in the cupboard, whatever, the pantry, the extra bread you keep belongs to the hungry. The cloak you store in your chest belongs to the naked. The shoes rotting in your possession belong to the barefoot. The money you have buried belongs to the needy. And John Chrysostom said, our excess is for others' need. Ouch. Really? Now, this is why having community at 3 here on this property, I think, is so important, because Camden Haven Anglican Church and Community at 3 ought to be seen as intimate partners in this cause of reaching people who are in need in our community. And this is why we care about refugees, because they've come across our path. These two families, refugees that have come across our path. I mean, there's millions of refugees. We're not going to make any difference by these two, but we're going to make a difference to those two. They've come across our path, so we do our best to make a difference. Greed is not our creed. The fear of the Lord is. Now, which path are you on? Now ask the question. Now Proverbs says, do you fear the Lord? Are you living a wise life? How many months have you got left? 30? 300? 3? Proverbs says exactly the same thing to wherever stage you're at. Start walking in the right path today. It's not overbearing though, isn't it? It's an invitation to life from a good God. He says, don't be led astray because I love you. Don't find your significance and self-worth in anything else except me, and show it. Follow the King. The truly wise King is not Solomon, it's Jesus. He perfectly feared the Father. He perfectly rejected the temptation of wealth. He became poor so that we might become rich toward God. And he now calls us to walk the same path. So may we, as a church, be described as the early church, like this. The church throughout Judea and Galilee and Samaria had peace and was being built up and walking in the fear of the Lord. And you'll remember the other description. No one among them had any need. This is basic Christianity. This is not some extra thing or some weird thing that weird Christians do. It's basic Christianity. To be concerned not only for our own poor, but for those in our community. So why don't we take a minute and reflect, and I suppose I'll just give you the two words, the two words that you might ask of yourself. Do I live my life by fear or greed? Which one?